Hello guys, welcome back to the channel again, and this is part 2 of the carburetor replacement on my World War II Willys Jeep. And if we're lucky today, we'll actually get this thing on and, dare we even dream it, get the Jeep started up. Now before we start the work today, I just want to say thank you to Cliff at Universal Jeep Supplies. He's supplied me with a pair of nice new old stock studs, the nuts that go on top of them as well. He always helps me out with short notice. I ring him up and annoy him all the time. He doesn't get shitty with you. Everyone go over to Universal Jeep Supplies if you need any parts. He really is top notch. So the first job's going to be replacing this stud. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So we've got our new stud here. I'm going to get the thin side of it. I'm going to put a nut on the end of it. I'm not going to do it all the way up to the top, or to the bottom I should say. Now I'm going to put another nut on top of that, like so. And I'm going to get a pair of spanners and I'm going to tighten them together. So now we've got this stud with two nuts on it that essentially can be used like a bolt. So I'm going to hand thread this into the inlet manifold, and then we can use that top nut to tighten it down. Just remember to have a bit of tissue wadded in there. You don't want to be dropping anything down it. There you go, you can see I can easily do that up with a nut. Now when it gets down to the bottom there, I'm just going to put a spanner on the top one and just give that a snug. I'm not going to overly tighten this. There you go, and that should be enough. Then I'm going to get my two spanners and I'm going to just undo these. And as easy as that, we've got our new stud installed and we can get on where we left off in the last video. So let's put our spiralizer on now. A bit stiff, as I showed you the other day. So now that's in, and we've got way more height there than we had last time, which hopefully means we should be able to get the new carburetor and just pop that straight on there like that. And we're looking pretty good. But in order to do the nut, I actually have to put that on as I drop the carburetor down. So I'll try not to get in the way of the camera too much. It's a bit of an awkward work position. So I'm going to put my lock washer on there like that, and then I'm going to lift the carb up, slide the nut on top, and I've got to start tightening that up like that whilst the carburetor is in the air. Now with that on there hand tight, I'm going to go around and do the other side, which has to have another part put on it as well. So the second stud down here is a bit of a pain in the ass for me to get the camera to show you, so hopefully you can see it. But before I put the washer and the nut on that, I need to pop this little bracket on here. This is for the return spring, and this is one of the parts that mine was missing, so you just simply pop that on. Then pop your washer on top of it. Then grab your nut. And you want to make sure that this is facing towards the tub. Bit fiddly to do. So this is a lot easier when you're doing a Jeep without the tub on it. So that's hand tightened, and now I'll do both of them up. Okay then, that's a pretty good start. The carburetor is now mounted to the Jeep, so we can get on with attaching all of the cabling and everything, and then see if we can get to fire off. So skipping to the future a little bit, you may notice I've already got the fuel line back in here. That's because there was an issue and I couldn't do it on my own. It needed two pairs of hands and someone who was much more skilled than me. So me and my father had to do this bit together, because it turns out this pipe, because that was going in a different type of carburetor that was sitting at a different level, I didn't think that was going to fit at all. But my dad managed to bend this in a way that will reach, but that was an arse, and it took both of us to get that into position. So I haven't got that on film because he doesn't want to be on YouTube. He ain't interested in any of that. So we've already got the fuel line fitted back in here. That isn't hard. You just screw the union in by hand, tighten it up, bring it around to this side. These just screw in, so that's nothing like, not like you've missed anything. But because my pipe was bent for a different carburetor, it just wasn't going to fit, so we had to make some changes. So we've got the fuel in. So if I activate the throttle linkage here, you should be able to see down there that we've got a nice accelerator pump working, so we know that's all functional, and from the priming and everything there's no leaks out of anywhere yet. The next job we need to do is attach the choke and the throttle cable, and that goes through these two bits here. This is for the choke and that's for the hand throttle. These are closed too much. You need to put a little screwdriver in here and just widen them up. So the choke cable here, you just put that round and through this side here, it's a bit of an arse because mine's under tension. You've got to hold it in position, see how it's just sticking out there? And then the wire needs to be able to go to the end of this brass fitting here, all the way up to where it is now. That would be full choke, without anything being impinged by this. So that would be good there. So we just clamp that in now. So what I'm doing here is I've just put the nut and the bolt back on, and I'm going to use that, if I not stab myself in the hand, just to crush this clamp shut again. So with the choke cable clamped in place, in theory I can just unscrew this here and get this threaded through. I have to operate the choke a little bit. Okay everyone, with the throttle attached and the fuel attached, we're at the point now where we can see if this will back off. So I'm going to turn her over and see if she'll fire up. We're going to go with full choke and see what happens. Well, she tried. Just getting a bit of fuel inside her. She's trying to back off. Okay then, so we got her to fire off and she's running, sounds like shit. Clearly the carburetor's not set up properly for my engine, so I'm going to sit and I'm going to tinker with this and see if I can get it running properly, which I'm going to do off camera, because otherwise I'm going to be here all day. So I'll get back to you in a little while. So this is where we're at. I've been tinkering around with this for a little while now, trying to get the mixture and everything set up right. Made a phone call to Cliff, have a bit of advice from him. I've had to reset the float needle, or the metering rod, whatever you want to call it, because that was in the wrong position. So let me show you where we've got to now. Alright then, that's where I'm going to put an end to this part 2 of this video. So we're at the point now where the carb is on the Jeep and it's firing up and it's running not too bad. I aren't going to be able to completely fine tune it until I take it out on the road. But it's out up to temperature, it's idling happily, it's revving happily. I've reset the metering rod, it should all be okay now. So what's left to do is just basically fit up the accelerator linkage and put the air horn and everything all back together. I'm waiting for a hose from Cliff. So that'll be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.